world that thinks chaos is loud, that it screams, that it explodes, that it announces itself so no one can miss it. But the most dangerous chaos I have ever seen was silent. No panic, no sirens, no moment where everything stopped. Just life going on, normally, politely, while something deeply human disappeared. And because nothing was broken, we told ourselves that nothing was wrong. So now I want you to imagine a mother standing in front of an empty doorway in a war zone. The fighting has moved on, the news has moved on, life looks normal again. Papers are signed, messages are sent, but her child is gone. Not missing, not lost, taken, stolen, kidnapped. And he was moved across borders, lost inside paperwork and system. Everything looks organized, under control, legal. But this is not order. Everything looks fine, everything is not. My name is Mariam Lambert. I'm a Belgian. I'm from Belgium. And I'm a mother of 3 children. I'm a human rights defender. And through my work with children affected by war, I have learned something deeply painful. Humanity is not lost when violence starts. Humanity is lost when suffering becomes normal. And we can't allow it to become normal. We are working to identify, trace, and reunite hundreds of Ukrainian children who were taken. We also provide them with psychological and legal support to both their children and their family. We are investigating cases of abduction. We document evidence, and we work with neutral authorities in order to ensure that the children are safely reunited with their family whenever possible. But above all, we fight for the notion that the safety and the well-being of the children is non-negotiable. And you know, I did not plan this work. It's been now 4 years almost working in a war zone. But some moment in life change you forever. Years ago, I stood in a village in Ukraine near the fighting, and there was no shock left. Destruction had become normal. And I told myself, this is what happens when chaos stays too long. But for millions of children, chaos doesn't end. It becomes their daily life. For those millions of children, chaos never ends. And they get used to it. And because when chaos becomes daily life, something worse than violence happens. We explain it, we lower our standard, and this is how lucid chaos survives. You know, one moment stays with me. We were helping children in frontline villages in Ukraine. A little boy, 6 years old, was holding my hand. He stopped, looked at me, and asked, "Am I allowed to be scared?" He didn't ask, "Well, this will end," or "Why is this happening?" Am I allowed to be scared? That question should stop us all, because the danger was not about what was around him. The danger was that he didn't know whether his fear mattered. Children understand danger. What confuses them is how adults respond to it. They see what we accept. They feel when silence feels safer than truth. And it happens quietly enough that the world looks away. And this is not only Ukraine. Right now, children are growing up in war zones all over the world. In Gaza, in Israel, in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Yemen, in Sudan, when they are displaced, killed, and unsafe. And today in Iran, where they are being hurt and killed in the really, really difficult, violent crackdown. Different places, as you see, different stories, but children are the same. A child born into conflict is born without a safe tomorrow, but still, we keep going like nothing happened. And you know, you are all maybe parents, you have children, you have sisters. These children are not numbers, they have names. These children were supposed to be protected because our law says so, our humanity says so. But we keep failing them every day. This is about children. Children like you when you were young, they were supposed to be playing and not hiding. They were supposed to be reading good night stories and not listening for bombs. They were supposed also to blow out candles on their birthday cakes and not wondering if they will eat tomorrow. And every time we say, this is too complicated, this is not our role, this is not our war, this is not our country. Every time we say that, we choose comfort, we choose silence. And when we choose silence and comfort, we make a choice. You know, New Delhi is a city where I always find it fascinating. It's my second time in New Delhi, and I'm extremely honored to be here. And, you know, in this time of chaos and instability, people, they instinctively, they look for something else. Because as you have seen in Davos, in other cities, in conferences, we speak about the war, we try to find solution, but it doesn't work. So people instinctively, they turn themselves into faith, and also the faith leaders, for clarity, for hope. We could have unique voices of faith leaders reunited, coming together as a neutral arbitrators. And that maybe could be the answer to care for the children until the chaos has stopped. Something very important, that when we speak about children and we always think that this is not our war and we cannot do anything, but I have to be very clear and very strong on this. This is why, you know, every time people, when I speak in a conference and I explain them how I keep going after 4 years in a war zone under missile attack and trying to evacuate civilians, and I respond to that question. The truth is, you know, the war itself is not the hardest part. The hardest part is how the world stays around it, stays really calm around everything. The waiting, the delays, the polite excuses. Lucid chaos lives there. But it doesn't end with anger. It ends with clarity. Clarity says, I see you. You matter. This is wrong. And the opposite of chaos, the opposite of lucid chaos, is not control. It is responsibility. Because control organizes, responsibility protects. And when responsibility disappears, that's how you have the system which doesn't work. The system becomes cruel. So when you leave this room tonight and life feels normal again and you go back to your life, remember this. Somewhere a child is waiting to be chosen over guns, over politics, over religion, over power. Because the future depends on it. The future depends on the new generation. Because every day I'm there with the Ukrainian people, evacuating civilians under shelling and fighting, identifying children who are separated with their mothers. Thank you for listening to me, and we hope that all together we will put humanity above all. Thank you.